Hi there, my name is Doug Burns, and I help businesses save time and money using automation. In this video, I'm going to show an app that I built using Google AppSheet. And as the name implies, AppSheet kind of combines the best capabilities of an app with a spreadsheet. So on the app side, it has things like buttons and menus and navigation, the types of things that you'd see in apps that you use every day. And on the sheet side, it stores its information very similar to the way that a spreadsheet does. And this particular app was built for someone who manages swim meets for a school. The reason I wanted to use it for this demo was because it has a number of different relationships within the data, and it also has different permissions as far as who can see what within the app. Those are both areas where AppSheet works really well, and a spreadsheet, something like Google Sheets or Excel, does not work quite as well. So if you have requirements like that, AppSheet is definitely worth checking out. All right, let's take a look at the data that we have within this app. So first, it's a division, which is basically a group of swimmers like the A division and the B division. Next, we have the actual event, which is the actual competition, like a 100-meter relay that a number of swimmers are competing within. Next, we have the entry, which is an entry of a swimmer within a particular event. And the reason that swimmer and entry are different here is basically because a particular swimmer can be within multiple events. And so we have that extra grouping there in order to be able to identify that. And then finally, we have the swimmer, which is the actual person in the competition. And we have a school that they belong to and a coach that's associated with the school and the swimmer. And the other thing to call out here is the different levels of view permissions we have. Administrators can see and view everything, see and edit everything, and coaches can see and edit basically just the swimmers for their school. Okay, let's take a look at the app. I'm currently logged in here as an administrator, and an administrator is basically the coordinator for the full event. So they have the ability to see things like schools, coaches, divisions, and the events. And they can just use this add button to add any new ones or edit anything that's there for the full event. And then beyond that, we also have the roster, which is all of the swimmers and all of the schools that they can see. And again, they can add more in there, as well as the events, which are the entries for swimmers into particular events. Let's take a look at adding someone to an event. I just click the add button here. You see a list of swimmers comes up. This is automatically populated from the roster that we looked at earlier, as well as the school that everyone's in. So I can select a swimmer, and I can also select a particular event. Again, the events are populated from the list that we were looking at over here in the same way. And all of these relationships come automatically when you're using AppSheet. You basically define the data model up front, and it knows what the relationships between these different types are, and all these menus and everything populate automatically for you. All right, now let's take a look at what this looks like on the phone. So I'm going to cancel out of here, and I'm going to go to coaches quickly. And what I'm going to look at in the phone is where I'm logged in as this user, Doug Burns, who's the coach for Summit Ridge High School. So let's just switch over to the phone. And again, I'm logged in as that user on my phone here. And you see that all that I see here is the swimmers for Summit Ridge High School, as well as the entries for Summit Ridge High School. And I can go in and I can actually edit any of those entries and put in the seed time, which is something that they can do while they're out at the event. And this being on your phone in this particular case is great for coaches because when they're out at these meets, they obviously don't have their computers with them. So you're able to access the same app with the same data on your phone. And again, it has these different levels of permissions. So you're able to restrict who can see what based on their particular roles within the app. One last thing I want to show in the app is how you can combine different types of information together in order to present different views. So in order to show that, let's take a look at this export report here. And you see we have different types from that original model I showed: swimmers, school names, events, and the seed time, which is the time for each one of the swimmers. All different types, but combined together into one particular report. And what they use this for is to export into the application, kind of the separate desktop application that they use for tracking the historical records for all these swim meets. And so this basically formats the information into the way that they need for that export, including putting the seed times into this special format that application requires. So again, AppSheet kind of lets you mix things together to display related information together in certain ways, and also reformat things if you need to. This also has an export capability, which is a feature of AppSheet that lets you export a CSV file from this particular view. And again, the person who runs these events uses that to import into another application. So in addition to exporting, you can also perform all kinds of different actions from these buttons within AppSheet, including custom actions. So you could call out to something like make.com to do an automation and pass it some of the data here in order to perform that automation, or Zapier, or pretty much any tool. Any tool that has another API, you can call out to it from AppSheet, provide it some information, and even have it write information back into AppSheet if you choose to. So it really gives you a lot of power to be able to customize your apps based on those actions. So this probably isn't revolutionary since you've seen other apps that work like this in the past. The difference is that AppSheet lets you build those types of apps based on your own requirements and your own particular data. And it's also very quick to build with. So for example, this entire application was built within a couple of days, including all this export capability and all the relationships and basically everything that I just showed. It's also very easy to edit. So as your business grows, you can go in and make changes, add new fields into here, add new menus, and those changes that you make literally in a couple minutes will show up within the app immediately. If you've got some challenges like this in your own business, just reach out, tell me a little bit about those challenges, and I'd be happy to share some ideas on how tools like AppSheet could help.